Hey y'all, hopefully the third time's the charm. This is the third time I've tried to videotape this. So the first time I started, I was having trouble using the watercolors because they're not mixing well. That may be why the color theory professor I had suggested gouache or acrylic. So I'm going to divert to my acrylics. I did want to go back and touch on the hue, value, and saturation. At the very end of the last video, I talked about combining complementary colors, and I just wanted to clarify that because when I did that, I picked this up and showed you this. So this is just red and red orange with varying increments of white, and that's going to be our next study if you feel comfortable about moving forward. So this is what I was trying to say in the other video. These are saturation studies using red and green complementary colors, blue and orange complementary colors, and violet and yellow. And so what has happened here is that this is true red and your true green from your color wheel. And then a tiny bit of green has been added each time. And then red has been added in different increments. The same for your orange and blue. So you get these different saturations of colors, and your violet and yellow. And then of course down here is your grayscale. So I hope that makes sense. All right. I have removed my watercolor from this. This is the third one that I've made. You are going to want to measure out on your watercolor Canson paper a 6 across by 7 inch piece of paper, and just ever so lightly on the side add about 1/4 to 1/2 inch border. Okay, and then you're going to use your ruler to make about 1 inch. Measure it. So you'll take your paper and your ruler, and you're going to measure from the first tick mark or hash mark here to 7 for the length, and then across for 6 inches. And then I would take your pencil and then mark 1 inch, 2 inch, 3 inch, 4 inch, 5, 6, 7, and then do the same going across with your ruler. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 7 this way. And if I seem tired, I'm sorry. I got up early and did yoga, and I was up late last night. So I'm spending the afternoon trying to do some videos for y'all. All right. So I haven't done this one in 3 years. So I'm gonna wing it and see if it comes out as an experiment. At least you'll have an idea of what we're doing next Friday. So you're going to want to get red and yellow because we're doing red and red orange, and your red orange combines red with you're going to have your red and then your red orange, which is red with yellow, which makes your red orange. So I'm putting away my watercolors, and I'm going to grab my acrylics, which are my yellow and my red. And I have smaller tubes, but I'd rather use these larger ones for this study. So again, I'm gonna show you, I'm gonna have this handout for you, which has more of an explanation on it. You're welcome to try this at home and follow along with me. You'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 vertical, and you'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 going across. This will be 100% red. The next one will be 80% red and 20% red orange. Your third column will be 80% red and 40% red orange. Your fourth column will be 40% red, 60% red orange, 20% red, 80% red orange, and then 100% red orange. And then with these colors, you are going to mix in 10% white for each of these across, 25% white, 35% white, 45% white, 60% white, and then 80% white. And you will have something that looks like this at the end of the study. So I am going to try to get started. I'm using one of my new tiny brushes. I'm going to wet it. I'm going to grab my paper towels that have walked away from me. And for this, I'm going to use just a piece of paper. So I'm going to have a rather large dollop of red and a rather large dollop of yellow to mix. And now I'm going to say bye and put this down so you can watch. Okay. So your first, and I'm going to turn this upside down so you can see what I'm doing. You would be working this way. So this first column is going to be red. You know, painting is not just color theory. It's also muscle memory, how to hold the brush, becoming familiar with the viscosity, the consistency of the paint. But it's also about holding the brush and remembering the muscle memory of remembering how to mix the colors. So I'm going to make a red orange. I'm going to get my little cheat sheet here again. So this is 100% red in the first box, top left. Okay. I am going to mix red orange. I'm going to bring this down here. I'm going to wipe off my brush because I'm going to end up dragging it through that yellow. And just pick up a little bit of yellow to make my red orange. It's probably too much. And that still looks very red to me. I'm going to pick up some more yellow. And yet still a little bit more yellow. All right, I can see a difference now between the red and this red orange. Okay. So that is my red orange. So I'm going to take red and 20%. We're going to call that 20%. So, and I'm going to pull some of my red in. You're going to end up using a lot of paint for this. All right, so I'm going to mix this red orange with the red. And I'm going to put that in the second square. Okay. I have red and red orange now. Okay, now I'm going to take 60% red. And 40% red orange. and mix those two together. And this is in your third block across the top. Okay, your next section is 40% red and 60% red orange. So I'm gonna make some more red orange. And these saturation steps are very, when you see them beside each other, very subtle. All right, so we're on our fourth block, which is 40% red. And 60% red orange. Finally starting to see a little difference there in the color. The last one is 20% red and 80% red orange. So that's going to be my 80%. And I'm just going to take a hair. And then the last section is 100% red orange, which I need to mix more of. All right, so very subtle variations in the color from red with different percentages of red to full red orange. All right, now comes the fun stuff. All right, I'm going to leave this here and I'm going to grab my white. And I'm just using a large, I'm going to put some white in one of the ice cube holders. And I've probably got a tablespoon of white in there. I'm going to set that to the side. Now, you will have to go back again and take your red, clean your brush. Okay. This is going to be red. Your first section is going to be your 100% red mixed with 10% white, 25% white, 35% white, 45% white, 60% white, and 80% white. Okay. So I am going to, my red is right here. I've got a bunch of other little dollops from doing the saturation from red to red orange. And I'm going to take a little bit of that red. And I'm just going to go ahead and make 7 little dollops because I'm going to go down this way. So that's 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Okay. Clean my brush again. Now I'm just simply going to dip my brush into the white, and then I'm going to clean it off. You know, it's really hard to quantify an amount literally without measuring it out. So I'm just going to say 10% is just a little bit on my brush, just a hair. And I'm going to mix it in with the red. And that is going to go here. Okay. Now I'm going to take double-ish, 25%. So I'm going to take 2 dollops of the paint and mix that with my red. Now pat, 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 mix, mix, mix. Make sure the white is mixed in there. You ought to be able to start seeing the change in saturation. Okay. I'm going to take, now we're up to 35%. So I'm going to do maybe 3.5 little dollops of white paint. And mix it into that red. And this should be just a shade less saturated than the one above it. Okay, roll your brush back and forth. There's still a little white around that area, but that's not touching. Okay. A hair lighter. Okay. Clean off my brush. The next percentage is 45%. So I'm quantifying it by saying that, you know, the number of times that I dip my brush into the white is, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 45%. I'm all right with it touching that other one. I'm not that concerned with it, but I'm trying to keep my paints not totally overlapping. All right. So this is your 45% white. Okay. All right. The next one is 60%. So I'm gonna do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and mix that red there. Now you got getting to pink. and then 80%. So instead of doing 8 dollops, I'm just going to add 2 more to this. And that would be one way for you to save your paint. All right. All right. So that's the top and the side. All right. You'll need to go back. I'm not going to finish this because my hope is that if you work on it over the next week, you can bring it in and we can talk about it, or we can try it again, or we can do this in class. But what you're going to do next is you are going to have a combination of your 80% red and 20% red orange, and then 1 dollop of white here. Okay. And then with that 80% red and 20% red orange, you would add 10% white, 25% white, 35, 45, 60, and 80. So what you're going to end up having is something like this. Whoopsie, minus this. I didn't add enough white here when I did this study. So these do change. They're very, very subtle, but right here, I just didn't add enough. So that is the saturation study. If anybody wants me to move forward with showing you how to combine the complementary colors of red and green to do a saturation study, I will. I can do the red and green, the orange and blue, and the violet and yellow. But I'm going to wait to hear back from y'all if you want me to do that or not, because I just don't want to move forward too quickly. So that's it. So if you want to try to work on this, you can. This will end up being the study for next week, along with us looking at your prismatic abstracts, your prismatic landscape, and your grayscale. All right, cheers. Have a lovely rest of the weekend and a wonderful week. Hope everybody's doing well.